Hello and welcome back to the Jazz Cave. So I thought I'd do a Giant Steps video because everybody loves Giant Steps apart from the people that have to listen to it. But obviously this is quite a big rite of passage in jazz, and actually it can teach us stuff about playing like real music, which is quite useful. As you probably gathered, I'm not really a fan of the tune. There are quite a few Coltrane standards which use this substitution formula, you know, the major thirds thing. If you don't know what that is, look it up, because otherwise this video isn't going to make any sense, and I'm not going to talk about that too much because it'll take up too much time. But tunes like 26-2, Countdown, Satellite, there's a reharmonisation of Body and Soul that Train plays, where he plays this progression and he also changes the melody as well. You can also use it as a substitute for other things, so it does have some uses, but I mean, in terms of what it teaches us about changes playing, it's a very useful etude. Which I think is pretty much the way Coltrane intended it. So anyway, the difficult bit of Giant Steps, as everybody knows, is the first 8 bars, because you have loads of chords. First bit, so we're going. So a couple of things about this. Obviously it's a 5-1, so you get 1 in the B, 5. I mean, if we start it from the upbeat, if we start it from the half bar before, we get that right. So this goes 5, 1 into B, 5, 1 into G, 5, 1 into E flat. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2, 2, 3, 4. It's the same thing. So it's a 2, 5, 1 in G, 5, 1 in E flat, 5, 1 in B, okay? Then the rest of it's 2, 5, 1s in those various keys. But we won't worry too much about that, so that's relatively straightforward if you can get through the first 8 bars. So, I mean, what I've kind of done in the past is I never really got into the kind of actual John Coltrane's methodology on this, which I understand is largely playing 1, 2, 3, 5, or the major pentatonic tetrachord in every chord. I don't know if I can demonstrate this very well, but just to give you an idea, it sounds a bit like this. That's I'm not very good at this, as you can tell. Yeah, whatever it is. Crikey. Anyway, you get the idea. We can practice that around, and that's basically what he did. As you can tell from my rotten demonstration, I haven't really practiced that. My approach has generally been to play around the triad, so I might play something like this. And so on. So, I mean, what I'm doing there is I'm really playing around the tonic triads. Which is fine. I've messed up the harmonic rhythm at the end there. And that gives you quite a nice sound, and obviously I'm looking for things like you know, like common tones and little movements by semitones, which I could exploit to make it sound a bit more logical and interesting. I mean, that's worth doing, I think. You can use either B major, G major obviously, and E flat major. So you can go. But what's quite nice as well is if you use the, you know, the minor chord on the 3 of each. So it would be, you know, going from E flat, or sorry, should I say D sharp minor, to B minor, which should be G minor there. Or you could go G major, G minor, for example. You can, if you mix them up, so. So you can get a nice kind of sense of the harmony there. And it's nice because it's quite guitaristic, so you're looking at, you know, where you can go, and, you know, obviously if I go G going into, sorry, B going into G major, then I can go G major, then G minor, and then do the same thing as the next chord. So I can play G, G minor, and then G major. What I'm talking about? B major, G minor, G major, G minor, and then E flat major. And then if you use other relationships, I'm sure you can come up with different patterns. But this is something which I'm moving. Having done this for like 10 years, this is something that I'm kind of moving away from a little bit because I feel like it's cool, but there's another flip side to it, which it comes to me from Barry Harris, like a lot of my ideas. But I have seen it talked about elsewhere, which is allowing the dominant to dominate. And this kind of comes back to, I think, if you play like if I play a 5/1 cadence in A minor. Apart from the tuneness of that. The resolution can be really delayed. Okay, I'll give you another example. This is all classical music theory, right? So I'm playing a suspension from one chord into the next. I'll do the same with this. So this is a 5/1 in the key of A major. Let's keep it open. So you go. Let's go. What am I doing? Oh yeah, sorry. Let's use an E7. Okay? It reminds me of things like Mahler's Adagietto for strings, where it just goes. So you're really just kind of, that's not that key originally, but you're kind of just sustaining that dissonant note until the last minute resolving. So what that means, I think psychologically, is that the resolution doesn't have to be hammered home, unless it's an unexpected one. But obviously these are all very expected resolutions going 5/1, and that's what we have in giant steps. So therefore, it follows that you can play a lot more out of the dominant and only resolve the tonic chord, or the 1 chord, so 5/1. You can play the 5 chord and only really resolve to the 1 chord very glancingly. So I'll just try and demonstrate that. It's not something which I have you up to speed yet, but so in this case we'd be playing, we'd basically throw away almost B major, this is a tonic chord, so we're going to play one note on it. And then, okay, so that's what we're doing for G7, so G major, so I'm playing D7. And then we go, okay, so what I'm doing there is I'm playing the dominant of each chord, so I'm playing D7, and then very gently resolving with hardly any notes, just one note into G, and then playing the B flat 7 and resolving into E. So if I set this up for 1, 2, 1, 2, 2, 3, 4. The rest of it is 2 5s. Let's just try that again. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm kind of expressing the B major chord there a little bit more than I absolutely have to. So let's try and take that down a bit. 2, 2, and so. So you can do it for the 2/5 bit as well. Just really kind of keep that really really light. Let's try and do it in position. So let's do it slow so you can hear it a little bit more. 1, 2, 3, 4. But you go. That's a little bit weak actually, I don't like that so much. 2, 3. And actually I don't think you're just limited to that kind of resolution. You could use any kind of resolution really. Let's see if I can do something quite weird. Let's see if I can go underneath. So instead of going, I'm going to do this. I'm going to use the, this actually comes out of the tritone substitute, but I'm just going to think of this as targeting each of those tonic chords, the B, the G and the E flat with a chord, a semitone below. So we'll start with the B. We'll just play B straight. quite modern, and it's also quite guitaristic as well. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's see. I need to slow it down. Let's see. Boom. Interesting, right? So let's try that again. That's right. And then E flat, D going to E flat. That's quite interesting. This level gives you a variation on it. Obviously there are also the scales. I mean, I can't do this yet, but one of the things Barry talks about in his video is that you should be able to play a scale from the top of your instrument down to the bottom and back again through the changes of giant steps without changing direction. And of course this is a great thing to do through any tune. Fantastic exercise. I can't yet do it on giant steps. I'll hold my hands up and say that's not something I've yet managed to achieve. But you can play scales, obviously. So, you've got this. Let's use these bebop dominant scales. So you go. And then let's do that. I mean, that's fine actually, isn't it? It's going to resolve to the third. So maybe. So. What happened there? That becomes more conventional. So obviously, how you get into the chord there is important. Oh, harmonic major, which doesn't exist according to me, of course. I never played that. So you have to think about the rhythm, right? Because if you go, that's an anticipation. So using the scales opens up that issue, which you can address with all the Barry Harris added note things, or whatever. But I think the best thing is just obviously to also use your ears. Okay, so I mean that's cool. So I'm sort of going from playing. Going from playing that through giant steps to kind of something a bit more like this. I have no idea what I was doing there actually, but it sounded quite good. Yeah, giant steps hack. Everybody needs a giant steps hack from time to time, but this has got wider ramifications. So this was told to me by a friend of mine, a bass player. Basically, you can view the whole. Sorry about this. You can view the whole sort of first bit of giant steps as being a kind of a 2-5-1. So I'll just give you a demonstration. So we start on B major, and then we go to 5-1. We go to G major, and then we go from G major to, and then B flat 7 going to E flat major. Right. So that is. Should put my phone on F-play mode, but never mind. So that is kind of, if we just break that down to the tonic chords as I did before, and then doing that, right? So you get, this G major chord can be, if we put it over a B flat bass, you get this kind of sound. If I do this, becomes kind of a dominant chord. So what this guy is saying is basically you can start off on the B major. So this is like the chord progression from the beginning of Night and Day. It goes flat 6 in the key of E flat, which is B or C flat major 7th if you really see N harmony, and then it goes B flat dominant, into E flat major. So it's kind of a 2-5-1. In fact, you could say it's the same as a minor 2-5. So this chord is now F half diminished going to some kind of B flat dominant altered chord, and then to a surprise E flat major. So if you're thinking that way, it's quite nice, isn't it? Anyway, gives you an idea. So it just gives you options, right? But the interesting thing about that sub is that, of course, we can use that for other tunes. So, for example, if I'm playing Night and Day, you know, for example, I can use that substitute when I'm playing over the 2-5-1. So, it's using triads here. And it sounds pretty good. I like that. You know, quite a lot of those Cole Porter tunes have like minor 2-5s resolving into major chords. So it's quite a useful thing to have. Of course, you can do it with the minor chord at the end. Doesn't sound quite as good to me though. So that's a useful thing to be able to do. And you can substitute that in for major 2-5s as well. So for example, let's do something completely silly. What should we do? That's just a 2-5-1. Let's just do that. 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, could we use our weird Barry Harris thing as well? So we're playing on the dominant. So we go. That works as well, right? So you've got like kind of options of using these substitutes in your everyday 2-5-1 playing as well. I mean, this is a great sound. I think this kind of, you know, in this case, it's a E major triad over the G bass note, resolving to major 7th. And of course, it's only one note different from the E minor triad, which you'll find on the, you know, the 3rd of C major 7th chord. So, and again, that relates to what I was talking about earlier with the relates to what I was talking about with the cycles. You can go like A flat major, A flat minor, going to E major, going to E minor. That gives you a resolution, right? So it's quite a nice little, you know, it gives you a nice little thing to play through that. And I like things like that, you know, like this kind of I use that kind of thing a lot. That's a common way of playing a cadence into C major. So it kind of relates to a sort of sus flat 9 chord on the G. You know, so I mean that's kind of fun, and it's related. Just using kind of triad shapes to, you know, put the flat sharp 5 in there. You can with a major triad as well. So it's just kind of putting these upper structure things in with triads. But I'm always thinking like the triads having a kind of voice leading life of their own, and Giant Steps kind of leads you a little bit for me in that direction. So let's try that again. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, it's just a way of doing it, really. So I think those triads are quite fun, and you know, obviously, you've got all the related ones to play around with as well. Anyway, I think that's enough rambling from me. Hopefully, that gives you some ideas for giant steps. I think the more ideas you have for giant steps, the better. Because to be honest, if you just play one thing over it all the time, one concept, it gets a bit dull. And it's also nice to find a way of opening it up to make it a bit less kind of frenetic. And I think that kind of 2-5-1 sub does that quite nicely, this sort of thing. And then, you know, which is quite... And, you know, it's not... It's the sort of thing that, you know, if you hear that over a rhythm section, it will sound fine. You know, it's like... and so on. Anyway.